right, going on the road again versus a really good football team. They're 3-1, coming off 2 big wins against division opponents. They're doing a really nice job, offense, defense, and special teams. We're going to have our work cut out for us. They're +3 in turnover margin. They're doing a nice job, really on all 3 sides of the ball with their scheme. And they got a bunch of good players. So this is going to be a big week of preparation and getting to know these guys and going to school on their schemes, and then having some really good days of practice out here. And with that, I'll take any questions.
You've got a lot of guys on the injury report today. Any concern about the guys that are just been added that might not be able to play Sunday? Clowney, Ward.
Yeah, I think with all those guys, we'll see how the week goes, but just being smart about some of those things.
So you're not ruling out Wills?
No.
What about Greg Newsom?
I think he's the one guy I would rule out, Greg Newsom.
Is the plan to have Anthony Walker back?
He's going to practice today.
But I mean, do you have to see before you?
Yeah, I think we have to see. Yeah, with any of these guys coming off an injury, you have to just. We've seen them move around in their rehab, but definitely want to see them practice football first.
How challenging is it to hop on a plane and fly to the West Coast for a game? I mean, does that add any extra difficulty? The extra.
I don't think so. It's a nice plane. Everybody has, you get. It's not like you have somebody sitting next to you. We spread out, so they do a great job here traveling our guys.
Kevin, what do you chalk up Baker's accuracy issues over the last couple of weeks to?
Yeah, I think it's always, Tom, I think you can always point your finger at a few things. But we missed a couple guys, and we're going to work real hard to make sure we hit them this week. I've seen Baker have great success in games, and I have no doubt that we'll continue to work at it this week.
Is it possibly be mechanical? Typically, when balls sail on in that, there's a little bit of a mechanical issue there.
Yeah, I think all of our guys get graded on their technique every single play. And certainly at the quarterback position, you want to try and make sure your mechanics are right. Baker does a great job out here working on his technique, and we'll just have to continue to do that.
Kevin, I want to ask you about Joel Bitonio. It seems like he's playing well, and it seems like given his stature here and tenure here that he would mean a lot to this team. Are those things accurate?
Confirmed, all of those things, yes. Yeah, he's doing a great job. He's playing at a really high level. He's doing a nice job in the run game and the pass game. Very dependable, playing a physical brand of football.
Before you met him, could you look at the film and say, he can really get down the field and do this for us, or do you have to get out here and install your offense?
I went back and watched tape of him when Coach Shanahan was here with him, and he really fits what we do.
Kevin, Baker and Odell have been together for 2 games. Odell is 7 for 16 targets. Is that a concern to you?
It's really not, guys. I mean, I know it's a concern anytime we don't have a completion, but the amount of balls that we're throwing down the field, in particular to Odell, I think you have to be realistic about what that completion percentage is going to be. Now, there are opportunities that we have to do better, I have to do better, and we'll work at that. But I feel good about where we are.
Given that, should the routes be shortened to get him the ball?
I'm going to employ you, Tony. Yeah. I think ultimately the answer lies always somewhere in the middle. So we're looking to get our good players the ball any which way. We threw Odell a screen, we handed him the ball. So those are always going to be parts of how we think when you're putting together the game plan.
With Jeremiah, have you been pleased with kind of how he's handled it when his role has expanded over the last couple of games?
Yeah, and I think that's the key there, Scott, is it's expanding because he's earning that role. He's competing. The more you show our coaches what you can do, the more that we're going to ask you to do. So his role will continue to grow.
You've had a couple instances where you line up for an extra point, and then after a penalty, pull them off and go for 2. So what's 1 yard worth to you, and why do you like going for 2 from 1 yard?
Yeah, I think it's dependent on a lot of things.
Like that truck?
Yeah. I think it's dependent on the play that we have in mind a lot of times. If we don't love the play from the 1, we'll probably kick it or put it on the kickoff and make sure we kick it nice and high and cover. So there will be times, and I think there have already been times where we've applied it to the kickoff. There will be times when we go for it because we likely feel good about our play.
Kevin, does it help when Does
Good
it help
time.
when you see a team on Monday Night Live and then can kind of watch that tape again? I don't know if there's an advantage to that or not. Is there anything to that?
I don't think so. I think all of us, we prepare based on the tape we have available to us, and then we all do some TV scouting and watch it, and then you get in the office the next morning and you watch it again. But yeah, I thought they played great the other night against a really quality opponent. They played a physical game. I think for us, we got to see that stadium and find out it's not an indoor stadium. That was news to me. But yeah, I think there's some really good tape on this team, and they've played some really good football. Even the loss that they had was a really close game.
You said something in preseason. That was the context. It was a preseason game. I'm not going to be kicking field goals inside the 30.
Yeah.
Did you mean that regular season too?
I think all those. I think all of those instances, Tony, depend on so many factors. Ultimately, we really, really value 7 points versus 3. I know it's a difference of 4, but we really believe in those 7s because in this game, you typically got to score a bunch of points. We won a game last week, 14-7. That's not typical in the NFL. You got to score a bunch of points. So it'll be dependent on a bunch of factors. If those factors tell us that we should take the 3 points in those instances, we will. But I just think that difference, I know it's 4 points, but that difference, it seems, is huge.
First of all, Baker called Joe Bosa a game wrecker. What does he do so well?
Very, very, very slippery, powerful, very good against the run, very good against the pass. Motor never stops. He's an elite player.
Yeah, how do you feel that your protection has been through 4 games? I know the sack numbers are higher than they were a year ago.
Yeah, the sack numbers, I need to do a better job. I think 3 of them have been on 4th down. I need to do a better job there.
Kevin, do you think Hubbard will be ready to play this?
I think we'll see. I think we'll see how he does at practice.
And is his readiness one way or another, is that connected to how you guys approach the decision with Jed?
No.
What have you seen from when you watch Justin Herbert on film play? Obviously, he's a nice, young, up-and-coming quarterback, but what makes him so good?
Great size, great skill set throwing the ball, athletic. I think he has good command of what they're doing and what they're asking him to do. He's spreading the ball around to a bunch of their playmakers. He's playing at a really high level.
And where did you cross paths with Coach Staley?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah, I've met him a couple times, but we didn't really cross paths.
Gotcha.
But great coach, obviously.
Does it feel like they take a similar approach? I mean, just watching the last couple of games, they went for it a bunch on 4th downs. And I know more teams are doing that, but do you feel like the same kind of thinking going on there?
Yeah, I think they're definitely playing aggressive. They're coaching aggressive. I think they were did they have 3 4th downs this past game maybe, but and they're converting, so they're doing a nice job.
Accountability is so much a part of your culture, and you talk about it a lot. When you review a game like Baker had Sunday with the rest of the team, is it any uncomfortability about pointing out the quarterback's errors?
No, never. I think all of our guys, Tony, at every position, they want transparency from their coaches, and we point out the good, we point out the bad, because we want to correct. So that's true for every single one of our players.
Do you do that first thing Monday morning?
We do it with the players Monday, 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Kevin, was that talking about accountability? You said you need to be better. Baker's also said that he needs to be better. Kind of what is that balance between admitting that you want to call better plays and Baker admitting he wants to play better?
Yeah, we're trying to find a way to win each game. Ultimately we found a way to get a win last week, a great team win. We got to go on the road and do it again, and I just know there's areas that all of us can do better.
Last season, Baker played poorly and big-time loss to Pittsburgh, and then he kind of put it all together. Was there anything similar that he could do this time? Anything that he took then that he can call on now, maybe?
I mean, I understand it's the quarterback, so he gets a lot of the attention. I just think we need to make sure we work real hard here at practice, and I know that we will do that.
Kevin, you mentioned obviously the benefits for the offense of going for it so much, but what does that do to a defense when they go into a game knowing you've kind of established you're going to be aggressive, and they can't sort of breathe that sigh of relief when they get that third down stop.
Yeah, again, it's not just aggressive for the sake of being aggressive. We're trying to be smart and aggressive in a lot of those areas. Those are things we talk about way in advance, so it's not just in the moment that you're making decisions. We try to take as much information as we can prior to those moments, and then when those moments come up, use all the information that we've learned as the game has unfolded. But I think any team, any defense, our defense included, understands that there's a bunch of times that you're going to have to stop a team on 4 downs nowadays.
Kevin, I don't think you've ever had to take a team from East Coast to West Coast until now.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of East Coast, Midwest, not like Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips that you will employ to ease that time change?
Yeah, we've talked about it as a staff. We have a bunch of coaches that have been on East Coast time for a lot of their careers, so we kind of came up with a plan and make sure that we get out there and have a great night of meetings and make sure the guys are ready to go on Sunday.
So you believe in staying longer with the time change rather than in and out? Some coaches make it the shortest possible.
We'll go in Saturday. We're not going to go in on Friday.
Okay.
Was that something you discussed?
We talked about it, yeah, and the other thing is just in the days of COVID, we don't want to spend too long not in our own homes.